All right, at this time, this is what we really came for. This is what we really came for. I'd like to introduce Scott Verity, Executive Director of the Razorback Foundation, to make some comments and then introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank y'all very much. It's great to be back with y'all tonight, and I got one question for you, one statement. How about them Hogs? All right, there you go. Y'all ready for some football in the Ozarks? I know I am. Hey, on behalf of the Razorback Foundation, I want to thank each and every one of you who help support the Arkansas Razorbacks, because without your generous support, our program would not be where it is, which is up here when LSU is down here. Okay? I'm glad our friends from LSU are here tonight spending their green money with people wearing red. That warms my heart. So we thank you and welcome you. And you're with a higher grade of people tonight. We're appreciative. Appreciate you. Seriously, it's great to be with you. I want to thank Wayne. I want to thank your club. I want to thank everyone who put on this banquet. It just doesn't happen by itself. I also want to recognize your club liaison who is here tonight, Mr. John Matsko, who's a senior associate with the Razorback Foundation. Where's John? Where are you, John? Oh, there he is, back in the back. Mr. John Matsko does a lot of great work for the club. And so I also want to share a special note. You know, our goal when we started the stadium construction project was to raise $40 million. But thanks to the passion of the Razorback fans, we eclipsed that goal and we raised $44.3 million. And that, we have a stadium that is second to none in the Southeastern Conference, and I would venture to say anywhere in the United States of America. I also want to say a special hello to Coach Branch and his lovely wife, Leanne. I got to work with Coach Branch when he was Associate AD at Arkansas, and it's always great to be with them. Glad to have y'all here. Now, let me get to the real point why I'm up here. We have a very special guest tonight. We have a new head hog, and his name is Hunter Yuarchek. Hunter is a native of Richmond, Virginia, and Hunter went to Guilford College where he played college basketball, and I'll let you talk to him about his average scoring per game. It's a great stat. You'll want to hear it. And he went on from there and he got a master's degree at the University of Richmond, and then he was a journeyman and held several positions across the country, just among a few, Vanderbilt University in the Southeastern Conference. He was at Coastal Carolina, and then, as you know, most recently, Houston, Texas, at the University of Houston. But most importantly, someone said it tonight, he's an Arkansan, and he really is. He's fit in here because he cares about this state, he cares about this program, and he cares about making us better every day that he gets up. And he believes in one state, one team, one Arkansas, one Razorback. And that's what you need to know about Hunter Yuarchek. He's a great, great leader and a great man to lead our program. I want y'all to give him the rowdy Hot Springs Village Razorback Club welcome we promised he would get, because we told him there's no club rowdier in this state than Hot Springs Village. And y'all bring it every time. Y'all help me welcome Mr. Hunter Yuarchek.
All right, sit down, come on. You know, it's not often I get to be the headliner. Only really when I come to Hot Springs do I get to be the headliner. Usually I'm the opening act for Coach Morris, or the opening act for Coach Anderson or Coach Van Horn. This is pretty fun to be here in Hot Springs and be the headliner. Patty, where's Patty? Great prayer tonight, by the way, great prayer. It wasn't the first one I heard tonight. The first one was John Matsko said a prayer when we were coming in. John, if you guys know John, he's traditionally late. We were late again tonight. We're driving in, and Scott and I, and we're getting on John for being late. We can't be late. These people are expecting us to be here. John says the prayers. We're pulling in. God, just please let there be a parking spot right out front. I promise I'll start going to church again. I'll stop drinking. I'll stop smoking. Lo and behold, we pull around the corner, there's somebody pulling out right in front of the door. And I look at Scott and I said, man, John's got a direct line, doesn't he? And then John says, hey, don't worry about it, God, I found one. So it's great to be here. I'm not a comedian, but that's my opening act. a little bit about myself, because I think it's important for you guys to know who I am personally. I've got 3 passions in my life, and I can sum up my life. I don't golf. Some of you have asked if I golf. I don't, because I'm awful. I don't hunt, because I'm awful. I don't fish, because I'm awful at it. But I got 3 passions in my life that I think I'm pretty good at, and the first is my faith. My faith is unbelievably important to me. I can't remember a morning where I have not awoken with a cup of coffee and a time of devotion and prayer, and that really helps me set the course for each and every day of my life. The second is my family. I've got a wife, Jennifer, of 24 years. Scott was very kind to call me a journeyman. We've lived in 8 cities and bought 8 houses. She's got a few other names she calls me, and they're not journeymen. But she is a saint, and she's a Razorback, and she has embraced this state, and our family's a part of this. I've got 3 boys. I've got a 21-year-old son that's had the opportunity to be a student athlete at Marshall University. He graduated this past year, and he's now out in Oakland trying to make it with the Oakland Raiders. I've got an 18-year-old son, Jake, that we dropped off during the College World Series at the University of Colorado in Boulder. He's had an opportunity to play football there. And then I've got a 13-year-old son, Brooks. He just started the 8th grade at Woodland Junior High School up in Fayetteville. So that's my second passion, my family. And my third passion is college athletics, and specifically now the Arkansas Razorbacks. Like many of you I found out in this room, I'm not from Arkansas, but I got here as fast as I could. Right? Right? Many of you agree with that, okay? So it's great to be here, and it's great to be your director of athletics. And I say that it does not matter what group of people I'm talking to associated with the University of Arkansas, whether it's our student athletes, our former student athletes, our staff, our alums, our Razorback clubs. I am your director of athletics, and I am here to serve you and everybody that is associated with their athletic program, and I take that job very, very seriously, okay? How many people know the history of Arkansas athletics? Okay? Well, here, I'm going to give you some things as I did my own history lesson that's astounding about what has occurred in this state with their athletic program through the years. And I view the athletic program as a front porch of any major institution. And the front porch is the first impression that you have of the house, right? It's not the most important room in the house, but it's a first impression, and that's what our athletic program is, a first impression. So that first impression, and I challenge anybody from LSU to top this, 46 team national championships, 218 conference championships, including 126 since joining the SEC. We've had 41 bowl game appearances, 7 Final Four appearances, 6 by our men's team, 1 by our women's team, 8 College World Series appearances, with the last one coming just a little over a month ago. There's been 65 Olympians that have worn the Razorback uniform. Okay, you guys can clap about all that. That's pretty good about the history, right? Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on right now, because there's many that have gone before our student athletes that laid the foundation for that great history, and we're just trying to build upon what that is. And so we break our department into 3 key areas: academic success, athletic success, and personal development. So a little bit about the past year. Our cumulative GPA for our student athletes, there's 465 student athletes. A cumulative GPA was 3.25. By a show of hands, how many people had a 3.25 GPA in college? All right, it's mostly the females. We had 131 of our student athletes that earned their degree from the University of Arkansas this past year. We had 72 that had a perfect 4.0 GPA. Now let's get on to the stuff that really matters. This is the Department of Athletics, right? Athletic success. We had 2 teams that finished as a national runner-up. Our women's indoor track and field team, and of course our baseball team, finished as a national runner-up in the NCAA this year. We had 4 individual national champions, 3 in women's track, one in a freshman diver. We won 4 Southeastern Conference championships. We had 14 teams, 14 out of 19, 14 teams out of 19 that participated in NCAA postseason events. You can clap for that, yep. We finished ranked 16th in the Learfield Directors Cup. The Learfield Directors Cup is a cumulative point total at the end of the year done by the NCAA that takes all 328 Division I teams, and as you did collectively for each of our 19 sports, we finished 16th out of 328 teams, and we were the top-ranked team with only 19 sports or fewer. And during the course of the year, we had 10 of our 19 teams ranked in the top 25 during the course of their athletic season. How many did LSU have? Just checking. And then another impressive stat, so we challenged them to have success in the classroom, which they did. We challenged them to have success on their respective playing fields, which they did. But our student athletes also went out into the community in the state of Arkansas and gave over 5,000 hours of community service to over 100 organizations. So that's what we've done. Let me tell you a little bit about where we're going. I'm a very simple person. Those of you who've met me, I'm pretty simple, okay? I'd like to really dumb things down, and I wanted to get our department aligned, okay? We have a vision, we have a focus, and we have a mission. Our vision, quite simply, is to be our best. To be our best. People said, well, what does that mean? How do you judge if you're going to be our best? Well, does anybody know what the definition of to be your best? Anybody want to jump in there with me? No. Really, to be your best is really to take the talents and the gifts that you've been given and use them for the purpose in which they were given, okay? And so if we're going to be our best, let's have a little lesson. We're going to have success what? Academically, athletically, and their personal development of young men. So if we're going to be the best academically or be our best, roughly we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 to 130 student athletes that are eligible to graduate each and every year out of our 465. If we're going to be the best, I need 130 of those student athletes eligible to graduate, 100% to graduate. We've got 19 sports programs. We don't call any of our sports Olympic sports. We don't call them non-revenue sports. We have 19 sports programs. If we're going to be our best with 19 sports programs, our 19 sports programs need to have an opportunity to compete for and win conference and national championships if we're going to be our best, okay? So that's what our vision is. Our focus is on student-athlete success. If our student-athletes are successful, we're going to have a lot of success, right? As you think back about what I talked about, our academic success and our athletic success and their development and going out and giving community service, our student-athletes were really successful this year, and we were successful. Okay, and then our mission is building champions and Razorbacks for life. That's our mission, and I challenge our coaches and our support staff and our administrative team day in and day out to help create opportunities for our 465 student athletes to have success academically, which means they earn a degree, athletically, which means they win championships, and in their personal development. And I truly believe that if our student athletes have an experience in which they earn their degree, compete for and win championships and develop personally, that we're going to send them off away from the University of Arkansas with a skill set to be a champion and a Razorback in whatever they decide to do in life. And so that's quite simply, that's our mission. All right, a little about what's going on from a facility standpoint. Everybody's aware that we're doing a $160 million project at Razorback Stadium, correct? Everybody got that? It's going to be done before the first game. I used to say on time. On time was August 1st. It's not going to be done by August 1st. We're well past that date now. But it'll be done before the first game, and it'll be done within budget. When you come up there for the first time and you see that facility, unbelievable. It is going to be something that you are so proud to say that's a football stadium for the Arkansas Razorbacks. It is a phenomenal stadium, and we've got a great picture-taking opportunity for you in front of the wild band of Razorbacks that's going to be outside in the plaza. What a beautiful waterfall with 6 large Razorbacks coming down a rock hill. If you've seen pictures of that, it's phenomenal. Great picture-taking opportunity. So that's going to be open on September 1st. If you don't have anything going on Saturday the 25th, we're going to have a little open house late in the afternoon. You can look at our website for some more details on that. A couple other facility projects we have upcoming. Our baseball team had a phenomenal year. Baum Stadium is a phenomenal baseball stadium. The amenities we have for our student athletes are subpar, meaning the locker room and the team room and their weight room and their athletic training room. And so we're working to build a new clubhouse for our baseball program down in right field. It'll be about a 40,000 square foot facility, 3 floors. It'll have a bottom floor that'll have some batting tunnels and pitching tunnels for our student athletes. The second floor will be a new player locker room, a new team room, a meeting room, a weight room, a training room, a nutrition center for them. The third floor will be coaches' offices. And then we're working on what we're calling kind of a home run porch to put about 20 loge boxes out there in the home run porch that'll be 4, 8, and 12 person loge boxes. That'll be an opportunity for us to generate some additional revenue. And the loge boxes have been very popular and very successful selling in the North End Zone facility. We've sold 70 of our 70 loge boxes. Is that correct, Scott? In the North End Zone facility. So we're looking to add something special like that to Baum Stadium. That will be roughly about a $20 to $25 million project. We're also going to build a track and field operations building. We have a track and field team that's won 43 national championships, but they're a men's and women's team. You can clap for that. The part you can't clap for is we have 65 young ladies on our women's track and field team. We only have 35 lockers in their locker room. We have about 45 on our men's team, and we only have about 35 lockers for them. So we've got to address what's going on with that sport, and that's going to be done with about a 20,000 square foot building that'll be in the south end of McDonald Field there at our outdoor track. And then we've got the opportunity to host the indoor track and field national championships in 2021, and we're going to do about a $20 million renovation to that facility in preparation for that. So that's about $50 million of projects. About $50 million of projects, and that's why Scott and John are here tonight. Just kidding. We're not asking for any money tonight. This is an informational session. So, all right, I got a question I've got to ask everybody. And this is really Lynn Atwell is not here. She had hip surgery. Everybody knows Lynn? Okay. So last time I was in Hot Springs, Lynn challenged me to make some changes, okay? All right, so by a show of hands. Ooh. Wait a minute, let's do it again. All right. Well, you got to be loud. If you like Pepsi, you got to cheer for it. Boo. All right. You know we're still a Pepsi school, right? Hey, here's the advice I gave Lynn, okay? You're already sneaking in a flask with liquor in it. Just put some Pepsi or Coke in the flask with the liquor. Then you have the drink mixed the way you want it, right? All right, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to come down here and see if you guys have any questions I can answer. Any questions?
I'd be interested to know what are the significant challenges that you see ahead for the athletic department?
Significant challenge I see ahead for the athletic department. We've got to get our football program headed in the right direction. I think it is. Okay, our budget's about $125 million at the which is a great budget, but it's 10th in the SEC. We still have some available seats at Razorback Stadium. Those seats are tied to donations. Those seats are tied to tickets. Of that $125 million budget, roughly 65 comes from football ticket sales and donations to the Razorback Club. So you see about a half of that budget, how important our football program is to us. And so I think we've got an amazing head coach, and he's done an incredible job changing the culture of our football program. And what we really need to do is we've got to support him as he's building his program. We've got to fill the stadium in Fayetteville. We've got to fill the stadium in Little Rock when we're coming to play in Little Rock. And we've got to make sure that we give our team the optimal home field advantage. So that's our first challenge, is making sure we get our football program headed in the right direction, because it is so important to the overall success of our athletic program. You heard we've got so many teams that are having success right now without our football program being at a level where it needs to be at. Just think of the success we can have if our football program gets to where I think they can under Chad Morris's leadership.
Not to put you on the spot.
You're not, because I might not answer the question. So.
But Arkansas is one of the few states in the country that doesn't play its Division I state schools. Do you see that as a possibility in the future? Because that game would be massive.
Do I see it in the future? Like the future, I mean, you're saying the infinite future? Yes, I see it as a possibility. Okay, the question was, we're one of the few states in which your flagship institution does not compete with other schools within your state. And was there an opportunity for that to change in the future? I put an infinite time frame on the future, and my answer to the question was yes. I answered the question, though. I didn't. Okay, next question. Anybody want to know who our starting quarterback's going to be? Yeah, me too. Okay. Anybody else? No other questions? Okay, yes.
I know that I'm stepping on Title IX because I know we have just women's swimming. But why don't we have a men's swimming program? Now that we're doing all these other things, why do we not have a men's swimming?
That is a great question. Yeah, they do swim. The question is, we have women swimming. Why do we not have men swimming? I wasn't here. I'm not trying to not answer the question. I wasn't here when we used to have a men's swimming program and it was eliminated. I don't know if it was budgetary Title IX. So the enrollment of our institution is probably 54% female to 46% male. So the athletic opportunities have to be in the same proportion, meaning we have to have the same number, 54% of our athletic opportunities have to be for females and 46 for male. When you have a football program, that's very difficult to get to without minimizing the number of male sports you have versus female sports. Yes, ma'am, all the way in the back. She asked what effect do I think all of the injuries that we've had during camp will have on our football team. You know, football is a tough sport, and injuries happen to teams across the country throughout the season. We're not the only team that's experienced some significant injuries to key personnel. And, you know, I think you'll hear Coach Moore say it gives the next person in line the opportunity to prove themselves and to do that role. And so I think you haven't seen, but I've seen in practice those guys that have come behind those guys that have been injured, and they're doing their role now, and they're playing their part, and they're making the most of that opportunity. Handrails in the walkway in the stadium. Scott, you want to handle that one? Oh, Mr. Verity has just confirmed that the walkways in the stadium are not wide enough for handrails to be put in by code. How's that answer? You're not writing this down, are you, Jeff? That was off the record, Jeff. Thank you. Anybody else? How many people? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How important would it be to start, I think it's the grandson of Jerry Jones?
So the question is, how important would it be to start the grandson of Jerry Jones at quarterback? Well, I would tell you, it depends on if the grandson of Jerry Jones can win us some football games. That's how important it would be. He's a wonderful young man. He's having a great camp. He's playing his fanny off. He is really, really good. We've got a quarterback battle that we got 5 guys that are competing really hard for it, and I don't think Coach has hedged his bet on who it's going to be, but John Stevens is having a great camp, and Yeah, 2 state titles coming out of high school. I don't know how many saw that state championship game last year where he brought his team back from down 13. And obviously the legacy of Jerry being on the 64 team and then Steven and coming here. Pretty special just to have him on our team right now and have him a part of our program. And the Jones family is engaged in our Founders Suite area, and it's really neat to just have him there. Great question. But I would say the answer to that question is, I would think even Jerry wouldn't want him to play if he's not going to help us win football games. Anything else? Yes, sir. That is a great question. The question was, how is Coach Morris going to use the new red shirt rule? If you're not familiar with the new red shirt rule, now freshmen can play in a maximum of 4 games and still earn a redshirt year. So there is going to be some strategy in how you use freshmen. Do you use freshmen to help spare some of your starters on special teams? We have a lot of starters that play special teams. Running down on kickoff takes a lot of energy. You may look to see some freshmen in 4 games run down on kickoff in place of a starter that's getting ready to go out on the defensive side. There's going to be some strategy in how coaches use it. I'm not going to give any secrets because Jeff's up here writing notes down right now, and that's going to get published. And we got a guy from LSU here. We play them later this year, so it'll be interesting to see how coaches across the country use that, though. Anything else? All right, wait, one quiz. What's our vision? To be the best. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just wanted to see if anybody was actually listening to me. Hey, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate so much your support of our athletic program, our student athletes, and I promise you that the Razorback Athletic Foundation and the student athletes that you support, we are great stewards of the resources you generously provide to help our athletes achieve greatness. And I can't thank you enough for what you do for the Razorback Foundation, purchasing season tickets, and just coming to the games and supporting our student athletes means so much. So thank you very much, and I'll stay as long as I need to answer any additional questions, take pictures, or just say hello. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you.